conversation, Congressman. I know you're very busy. And there are probably the other things you'd rather say off the record. But let me ask, anong basa mo sa kalagayan ng genuine, tunay na opposition nowadays? Aren't things actually looking quite interestingly positive? I think the outlook is more positive for 2028, and even 2025 doesn't look too bad, right? I mean, if you look at it, Kikoy is within the striking distance. Bami speaking up momentum. In the congressional race, the party list, there's a good chance that a couple of good guys will join you in the next Congress. Do you think that there's a chance right now to reconstitute the pink movement and the broader progressive movement, not only for 2025, but more importantly for the big race that is going to come in 2028? Ano yung mga, do you think nagkaroon ng enough soul searching and at the same time tactical and mobilizational reconsiderations and reflections? Because you were a campaign manager of, Risa Ontiveros. So, you're not only a legislator, you're also someone very seasoned in campaigning. So, anong basa mo in terms of the lay of the land as far as prospects for pink movement and the progressive movement is concerned?
And Richard, i-clarify ko, I was the campaign manager of Lisa during her first and second run. This was
Na
2010
hindi
and
successful.
2013 na di successful. Pero those were important building blocks to eventually getting our,
Exactly.
our, our comrade to the Senate. So, ako tingin ko dalawang bagay. Yung una, nakita na natin na mayroong malaking possibility of mobilizing like-minded citizens to take an active role in a people-centered, people-powered campaign with 2022. We have learned our lessons from 2022, and hopefully those lessons we can apply to 2025 leading up to 2028. At saka yung isang maganda pa ngayon ay this early may nakikita na tayong options for 2028 at mahalaga yun, no? People that we can rally our constituencies around, no? Maaring for the presidency, the vice presidency, or even the Senate. Marami tayong options at this point in time. Ibig sabihin, maraming opportunities for success come 2028. It's just a matter of, again, a question of consolidating itong mga efforts na to and at the same time, expanding yung base natin. Again, learning from 2022. Tingin ko with yung 2022 experience has provided us important perspectives, not just on how to engage other people, but how we understand ourselves as progressives, as a progressive political force. At hopefully, yung lessons ng 2022, we will have the humility to really embrace, imbibe, learn from, and then innovate. Kasi
Okay.
we can do better
Yeah.
in 2028, definitely.
Can we spell that out? Again, I know, Percy, don't worry. Ako naman ang ibabash ng mga kaibigan natin. So, don't worry. What are the lessons you have learned? Of course, I've said my own version separately, but from your humble and constructive and nice version, not the Liamas Haydarian version, what are the lessons we should have learned and have perhaps learned from 2022? How are we applying them to 2025? And then ano yung ba yung next level na dapat gawin natin in preparation for 2028 so that solid na talaga tayo? Because I think people don't realize it's very probable na neither Rafi Tulfo nor Sara will run for the presidency in 2028. Hindi po yan sigurado. Of course, they're leading in the pre-election surveys, but it's very possible that the field could be very open for a third-party candidate, whether it's Riza, whether it's Lenny, whoever progressive candidate. So actually, when I look at it, very exciting in prospects. But it's only exciting if it's on a potential level, theoretical level. How do we actualize that? What lessons should we have learned? Again, Percy, I know you're going to be nice. So in a nice way, ano yung mga natutunan natin?
Sige.
What is the baby? What
Siguro,
is the bathwater?
okay, sige. Yung pinaka-nice way of putting it ay yung mathematical operations, no? Kasi minsan, as progressives, may tendency tayo to subtract, no? We want to be as pure, we want to be as within the correct line as possible, we want to be as aligned. Yung politics kasi is, whether we accept it or not, it's about compromise while staying true to our core. So it's both about addition and for a national presidential run, it's about multiplication. So the challenge is how do we multiply our base? How do we multiply our sphere of influence? And how do we ensure that we have enough runway in order to not just launch a campaign, but eventually win a campaign?
I like that the runway because I feel the runway is coming together, right? But still, someone has to do the running. you think there was too much cancel culture and perhaps elitist narrative or language use? Because I remember yung example in Baguio, yung sinagawa yung mga ibang volunteers. Like, you never go to my hometown and tell people, let me educate you on the Marcoses. Like, gusto mong mamatay. Like, you know, like, there are things that we have to really avoid. Yung lecture type. You know, I do lecturing for a living, but I never lecture people when I meet them in person or even on my vlogs. Do you think we have to consciously avoid some of that kind of kind of let me educate you mindset in favor of more in listening tour? Do we need more listening tours?
Yung mga nasa social movement, alam na natin yan eh. Yung mga nag-organize sa mga communities, alam na natin yan, na you start where the people are. Hindi ko lang alam kung bakit na nakarang election, siguro masyado tayong agitated, masyado tayong naging inspired, na we forgot that very important basic community organizing lesson. That is to start where the people are. That's the only way that we can fully capture their imagination. Kapag alam natin yung lived experiences nila, and we operate within those lived experiences. That's how we expand yung worldview towards an alternative para sa mas maayos na lipunan. So, balikan lang natin yung basics.
And then in terms of again, this is very Gramsci, right? But in terms of good sense versus common sense, in terms of folk wisdom, should we do more yung mga ginagawa kong piatos dance, yung mga, alam yung mga nakikita mo? Do you think we should do more of that? Patulan na natin and let's just do it better than the other side. Do you think that's the, or do you think that cheapens the cause and it makes us look like we're just like other trapos?
Naalala ko dati nung nagko-com3 tayo sa UP, di ba, yung tinuturo sa atin yung field of experience. No? We should never operate outside that field of experience kasi the only way to raise consciousness is to first tap into that collective field of experience. So, yan
Yung
ay
life
maaring
world, right? Life world, yeah.
yeah, so maaring yan ay yung piatos dance mo. Nakita ko marami kang dance no nakaraang holiday season. Looking forward to more. Habang malapit tayo sa Valentine's Day. And at the same time, being able to really capture yung spirit ng moment. Kasi di ba, ala nang mas malaki pang failure than a campaign. I'm not saying that this happened, pero yung pinakamalaking failure for a campaign ay kapag your ears are not on the ground. Pag hindi mo naririnig yung pulso ng masa. So we have to be more in tune with and we have to be more appreciative of the experiences of people. Yes, may tendency tayo na manatili doon sa ating echo chambers. Pero again, natuto tayo from the 2022 experience and we will bring that to 2025 and 2028.
Parang biglang maraming nawalang live followers nung nagsayaw ako. So maybe no, but Percy, going back to this, one of the things I heard about Risa's campaign was, again, you don't have to give away the cookies and all, but narinig ko isa sa mga strengths ni Risa, and in fact, narinig ko even our good friend Robin Hood Padilla, is yung usage of vernacular advertisement and vernacular influencers. So, whether it's Ilonggo, Waray, you get what I'm saying? Do you think we should do more of that? Develop narratives and communication channels and then reach out to influencers, people on the ground who do it in the local languages. Waray,
Ayan,
Ilonggo, mga ganun. Do you think we should do more of that? Because I think the linguistic part has not been as studied as well as, at least based on my limited knowledge
uh,
of related literature.
before the age of social media, di ba, alam naman natin, dalawang paraan yung pag-communicate natin using what we call then as yung traditional media, di ba? Ginagamit mo yung national platform, primarily in Tagalog, and then nire-reinforce mo siya ng iyong mga local platforms. Ito yung regional radio. Kaya nga sa mahabang panahon, ang spending madalas ng kandidato, meron kang national ads and then meron kang local ads. And most of your local ads are in the local languages. You do local interviews with local commentators. At ngayon, pag nilagay mo sa panahon ng social media, yung local commentators mo could also be your local influencers. So it's not just about delivering the message in a particular language. It's about tapping into the opinion makers and influencers in the area. People who are sources of information para doon sa mga tao sa specific locality. Napakahalaga ng ganong targeted strategy kasi maaaring meron tayong snapshot of how the national sentiment is. Pero meron kasi nuances yung sentiments na yun depending on the region. So it's both about language, tone, and even agenda. So that is something that we need to master as communicators for political change.
Congress Mercy, what about the aspect of timing? Shouldn't we start as early as now? Because if there's one thing we learned, I mean, Lenny did amazing from 3% to 25%, right? That's amazing. But if that were even organized earlier, who knows? Maybe she would have ended up with 30% of the vote or 40% of the vote. Should we start as early as now reaching out to these people? Kasi ang napansin ko, of course, I come from Baguio, so it's not super malayong probinsya. But there's always this impression of eto na naman mga taga Manila, pag kailangan nila tayo, biglang magpapakita sila. Yung nakaka-annoy daw kasi yung pag malapit lang elections, nagpaparamdam tayo. Uy, kamusta Beshi? Kamusta naman dyan sa ano nyo? Do you think as early as now, you have to build those networks, linkages, so that it comes off sincere when you want them to spread the message for their own vernacular local folks, right? Down the road.
Oh. Again, balikan lang natin yung karanasan natin sa social movement, di ba? Constant ang community organizing. Hindi ka nag-organize sa communities kapag nandiyan na yung kampanya for an issue. Nabibuild ka ng communities kasi mobilizable force sila and you want also for them to be vigilant. No? So, baka nga we can get so much from our community organizing experience and translate it into our campaign strategy na constant na ginagawa siya year in, year out, election season man o hindi. Kasi yung mga traditional politicians, ginagawa yan. Yung infrastructure
Correct,
nila,
correct.
hindi na fold up dahil natapos yung election. Patuloy na nire-reinforce yung infrastructure na yon.
Yun nga. Sorry, ginagawa ka ng Ronald Llamas kasi mas maganda yung analysis mo, to be honest. But anyway, talagang ang mean ko kay Ronald. Titan ko na him later on. This is Ronald kasi
Oh.
nagka-travel ngayon kasi... No, no, no. But last point on this, uh, again, one thing we rarely mention is disinformation, right? And the role of social media. Kasi tingin ko it's exaggerated. I mean, it's so easy to just say, disinformation lang. I mean, that's the easy way out. Of course, there's disinformation, but it's barely 20% of the explanation. There's mobilization, there's narrative, there's organization, everything, right? But for the sake of argument, and in fact, it's a factor. One concern I'm hearing, Percy, is that we might be heading towards our first TikTok elections, right? Indonesia already had it. Donald Trump's TikTok was so influential for him. He
Mm.
got the swing votes, the Gen Z, African Americans, Latino votes. So lahat ng mga key votes that he got is because of TikTok. So much so now he's covering up for TikTok, openly saying, "I love TikTok." So US, Indonesia, these are the biggest democracies on earth. I won't be surprised this year TikTok will be among the leading, if not the leading social media platform, if not the platform for these elections. What should the progressives do with this? Because obviously, unang-una, no offense sa mga kaibigan natin sa TikTok who are helping me out every time someone is messing out with my account. But this is China, and we know there's an evidence that there's a manipulation of algorithm. Whenever I post something about Duterte's explicitly, for some reason, parang biglang hindi siya napapublish or walang
Mm.
views. Anything about China, I can see talaga that there's something going on and something fishy going on. But having said that, TikTok is there. We're not banning it anytime soon, if ever. What do you think we should do with this new evolution in the social media platform and the Gen Z voters becoming much more dominant part of the electorate in the coming months?
Well, just like yung nakaraang wave with Facebook, YouTube, ngayon naman yung TikTok, kadalasan yung early adopters merong advantage. So, kinakailangan maging bahagi ng conversation sa pag-design at pag-craft ng both message and strategy, yung mga early adopters. At ito karamihan ay mga kabataan. So, mahalaga that young people be part of not just yung distribution mechanism, but even the content development mechanism, yung pagbuo mo ng strategy. Kasi again, TikTok is a distribution channel. Ang mahalaga dito, yung ano yung mensahe na i-distribute. At pabayaan natin yung mga mas adept doon sa medium to develop strategies on how to distribute it. Again, the final material or output in TikTok, yung maikli nating videos could only be as effective as the message. Minsan, kahit gano'n ka-creative, kung hindi gano'n ka-compelling yung message, baka hindi mag-cut through in terms of converting our voters towards a particular voting direction or preference.
And speaking of politics as a game of addition or multiplication plus conviction, right? Addition plus conviction. What do you think about ideas that, let's say, for some reason, Lenny doesn't run for presidency or Riza doesn't run for presidency, but at least we have someone good running for vice presidency, and then you could team up with someone. Let's just say, for example, lang Rafi Tulfo, right? There are conversation that those kind of permutations should be considered seriously if ever Lenny or Riza themselves or someone from the progressive opposition doesn't run. Do you think these conversations are sign of desperation or sign of innovation, or that actually we just should be open to all sorts of permutations in terms of building like-minded coalitions? Because again, I don't want to defend Rafi Tulfo per se, but the guy has some sense of yung dilemmas of our
Mm-mm.
OFWs. He attends International Labor Organization. This is someone I've interviewed. It looks like he has yung pulso ng masa, di ba? I mean, I don't think he's faking it all, right? I don't think budol ito level ni Duterte.
Mm.
So, do you think this kind of conversation, and don't worry, it's not just me and Ronald. I have heard this from other people too. Is it a healthy conversation? Is it a tactically rich conversation? Or is it a premature conversation for that matter? Or is it maybe time for us to really think outside the box?
Sa akin naman sa dulo, yung conversations na ito, these are important conversations that we should have. Pero yung mahalagang tanong ay, why are we having these conversations? If we're having these conversations, kasi malinaw yung political objective, that is to hold political personalities accountable para tiyakin na hindi tayo bumalik doon sa bangungot ng Dutertismo. These are, again, conversations that are critical and important. Pero we can only be part of these conversations if we build enough political base now. Kasi kung hindi ka naman politically significant, you will not be part of those conversations in the future. So the work really begins now in developing and expanding our political base.
So what you're saying is that you can build, to use the term of some of our friends, an autonomous force out of the genuine opposition. Kasi what you're saying is that kung pichugin ka naman, kung ano ng coalition building gawin mo, you'll not even be a junior partner, right? We need to build our own autonomous force. That's what you're saying, right? Are we doing that? And are those elements coming together? What are the key things you have to keep in mind to build? Kasi yun purong Duterte Marcos, Duterte Marcos, Duterte Marcos, baka nga Tulfo. That means wala pa yung hindi pa na congeal, no? Crystallize yung third force, yung good third force.
Kaya napakahalaga ng laban natin ngayong 2025. At least the independent, genuine opposition has to be more visible. We have to be able to project that we are a political force, not just for 2025, but beyond, for us to be considered as a viable option, as a viable alternative for a third poll or even as a contender for 2028.
Candidate number one, thank you very much. No, just kidding.
And I thank you.
Kansas City! Like, thank you very much, Congressman Percy. No, I really appreciate this conversation. As I think people realize that, I'm talking to you as if you're the other Ronald Llamas. No, because you have an
No,
experience.
please.
No, please, exactly. I'm
No,
sorry.
please.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yes, please. We need more of you, more of your thoughts because Percy, you have direct experience in it. Yes, you didn't succeed in the first two attempts for Riza, but those were the building blocks, right? That's what matters, and that's what I really appreciate in this conversation with you. Yung iba na lang, I'll leave it na lang to off the record conversations. I'm sure there are other things you can talk. But to the degree that we could have this conversation on the record, I really appreciate your sincerity, your honesty, and your optimism. Percy, parang mas optimistic ka pa nga sa akin eh. Parang mas perky pa nga sa akin eh.
Oh,
Is this our defense mechanism?
na-realize ko pagpasok ko ng Congress, I have to double up on optimism. Kasi pag nakita mo yung real politics, madaling mawala yung optimism na yan. So, yan yung isang major task ko every day. That is to master the optimism. Kasi that's the only way that you can rise above yung challenges ng political realities na meron tayo.
Ang tawag ko dyan, detox positivity. Yung kailangan mo yung positivity ng other ones, malunot ka sa cynicism and all. Iba siya sa
And that's yes, and that's very important also so that you can stay true to your core.
so much. Again, thank you very much, candidate number one.
And
Thank
I
you.
thank you, yes. An
Saying
18-year-old stunner from Cruz Naligas, Quezon City.
Saying true to your convictions. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Tuloy, kung ano nahulog dito. Salamat ka, Percy. May mga gulo nangyari dito. Sobrang na-excite sa conversation natin. Thank you very much, Percy, for that wonderful.
Maraming salamat. Thank
Talk to you
you.
soon. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.
I will.
God